Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Bobby Mills with theindependent.com with another Bobby Mills Independent Sports Talk Show with Jim Langan on your right and E.W. Eric Williams on your left. Zach Navy behind the camera. Tina Martinez looking straight into space instead of watching something.
He's looking at all those Yankee posters.
Oh,
he's
isn't this great? This is just unbelievable.
Look at that.
Someday your picture will be up there, Jimmy.
No, I'm pretty sure that's John Wooden and Lou Alcindor there.
Yeah.
And then over there, who's this guy? These two coaches. These two coaches. Coach K and Dean Smith. They won a game or two.
They won a game or two. Yeah. Also good Yankees fans, I think.
Derek Jeter over there in the corner. Cal Ripken Jr.
Jeter.
That's Muhammad Ali. Michael Jordan.
Wow.
What's that? Is that Mickey Mantle? Oh, I'm sorry. Cal Ripken Jr., I'm sorry. Got another Yankee. There's no Baltimore Orioles or Boston Red Sox.
Maybe it's Billy Ripken.
I haven't seen a Boston Red Sox or a Baltimore Orioles in this place.
He's going to get thrown out.
Yeah, I'm out of here. Taylor, you want to take my spot of 8-man-1, 8-man-2 deal?
All right, D1. Palmer easily gets by Amherst, and Alma goes up to Alma and Hemingford. Okay, they were behind 32-6 and scored the next, I don't remember, 38 points to win that one. So now Alma gets to host the Palmer Tigers, who haven't lost a game. Anybody have any ideas on that? That's going to be a good football game, I think. Isaac Frex has a good team. I know you.
Alma had some kids injured when they played Elm Creek.
They did.
Yeah, they had some kids injured. They weren't playing, and they also had a lot of kids that were playing with casts all over. One arm, trying to tackle again the whole. Were you at the game?
No, but I heard it.
No, and I mean they did everything they could, but Elm Creek was just too much for them that night. But Alma also lost a game on the last-second field goal, so they're a little bit better than people think. Just like you said, I don't think their depth's very good, and I just think Palmer week in and week out has played a little bit better. But I don't count Alma out of it.
And Elm Creek, I went up there last week, Jimmy, and they have their seating in their side of the stadium are old seats from the Denver Broncos Stadium. They're single seats. I could not believe that. Plus, their football field looks so much like an 11-man field that I had one of Elm Creek's kids returning a kick 83 yards for a touchdown, which is not possible in 8
That's how records are set right there.
You cannot you cannot return a kick from the end zone.
You had one from 83 yards.
I had one from 83 yards. I got scolded and I changed it. It was actually a 63-yard. Mr. Duda reminded me of that. So anyway, yeah, the famous Doug Duda. Atkinson, West Hope, and Chambers, Wheeler Central, Ewing.
I'm taking
I'm
taking Chambers, Wheeler Central, Ewing. That's who I'm taking. They haven't. I think they've lost one football game in like the last 3 years. They're good.
They get not very many kids, and they won the earlier matchup 30-18.
One thing good about the NSAA, they're lucky those two teams happen to get to play each other, right?
Yep.
They are very close to one another, and they're not close to anybody else.
That's
they're probably 100 miles away, but they're like there's only 3 towns between them.
Elm Creek and Medicine Valley. Med Valley beats Kennesaw, which is a good win. Elm Creek sends Cambridge home. By the way, I saw a running back from Cambridge that I think might be one of the best running backs in the state. And Tayton Benson. He's 6'4", 195 pounds, and is fast. And every play is up the gut, and he has 200 yards. Somebody better be looking at him from some smaller school, UNK, I don't know. But anyway, who's going to win that game? Boy, this Elm Creek team looks good, Jim. My gosh. You saw him play. What do you think? I mean, defensively, my goodness, can they hit?
Yeah, they've got so many offensive.
You like
weapons.
That coach? What a great coach!
Yeah, they got some offensive weapons. Elm Creek's only 13 miles from Kearney, and I used to steal plays from the Curtis Medicine Valley coach.
Did you really?
Oh yeah, everything he did, I just ran. And I'll tell you what. So I mean, I like both coaches. I like all the players from both teams.
Yep.
But Elm Creek's undefeated. And so until somebody beats them, I'm going to stick with Elm Creek.
Have you played golf in Curtis? I played golf once there, and it says out of bounds to the right, Ed's pasture. Out of bounds to the left, Jim's pasture. Never saw it before.
Yeah, you know what's kind of interesting is that...
And the planes were landing.
Yeah, and the thing of it is, if you play golf there, it's really not out of bounds.
No,
you just hit another ball. That's your mulligan. You get mulligans at Curtis. Yeah.
Right up there by the international.
Yeah, you get a mulligan. Right? Yeah, you get, and sometimes you get 2 mulligans.
That's exactly right, because nobody's looking, but remember, God is. So anyway, Burwell in Perkins County, holy woohoo! They go up to Burwell. Grant's got to make a long trip up there. I don't know. Burwell's been a little bit of a disappointment, but you can't play in the state finals game a year ago. I don't know. Perkins it's the big guys against the little fast guys. EW, have any?
You know, I'd love to take Burwell in this just because it is Burwell. I mean, just the
Yep.
history alone. But I agree with you. They have been somewhat of a disappointment at 7-2. And like you said, it's a tough team to stop, I think. And,
Yeah.
and I got to think that Perkins is going to end up winning this one.
And Carly Wells from up at Elgin Pope John is down there now, so he's won a title in his life, so I don't know. I might have to go with Perkins County also on that one. And then you have West Point Guardian Angels Central Catholic of the North playing Humphrey Lindsay Holy Family, who had the audacity to move their game to Lindsay instead of playing before St. Francis down in the hole, that beautiful hole with field turf. No, I'm sure that field in Lindsay's nice. I'm afraid Bill Mimick's team might be overmatched a little in this.
Could be,
Ooh.
could be.
Guardian Angel CC is, you know,
I think you might be right.
what you know anything?
Yeah, I'm
sorry,
thinking,
Bill, but-
yeah, I think in Lindsay Holy Family's had a heck of a run, but it's going to be hard to get that West Point
Ooh.
team. I think that one is going to be one that probably got a running clock possibly too.
They're one seed on that east side, and then East Butler, who beat a beaten up High Plains team, now has to go to Henderson Heartland, who had a heck of a time with Nebraska Lutheran from Waco, a 3-5 team. I can't figure that out, but I like Heartland in this one.
I do too.
So, you know, and East Butler, congratulations to them. But then Nebraska City Lourdes, who is always good, plays at, man, everything is tough. Now Mike Spears up at Howells Dodge has a pretty good team, young team. They have to go down to Nebraska City and play Lourdes. I'm not going to say anything in this one. Mike Spears is a friend of mine, so
Hey,
I'll
what's
abstain.
what's Nebraska City Lords? What's their seed, you guys? What was their seed when we started? Can you see that?
I can see it. They're well, actually, they're number 3, so they're up there. I mean, they're in the Sacred Heart class. You know,
Yeah.
they've got good athletes all the time.
I know they were pretty good in basketball last
Whoa,
year. They played a
that-
really good schedule.
That makes a
You know,
difference,
they
doesn't
played a
it?
tough
State
schedule.
champions,
Yeah,
aren't
so
they?
I think I'm going to go with Nebraska City Lords.
And then you have Tri-County, where they beat Hartington Newcastle. Great matchup up there. Waiting for them is Creighton, with Gene Sewer from Papio coaching up there now. Ooh, that gives me the shivers to think about playing Creighton.
You know,
Here's my answer. Here's my answer, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, both teams really had explosive first rounds. Both teams scored over 60 in their first round. But I do think going up to Creighton, an 8-1 team, I do think maybe that defense might be a little bit better and maybe separate. But I think it could be a close one with Tri-County. I could see a 10-point game there.
Well,
Possibly.
they were a force and 11-man football a year ago. A free trip around the room to anybody who guesses Diller Odell's nickname. How about that? The Griffins.
I was going to say that.
You were. I know.
I thought you were going to say you're making a trip up there.
Yeah, no, I'm not driving.
Nothing's Class D2, number 1 seed Osceola. That's where Big Zach and I'll be. Jimmy, you coming along? That's it, not very far. Falls City Sacred Heart, a 75-0 winner over Friend. They make the trip for an afternoon game at 4 o'clock in Osceola, home of the Bulldogs. Don't know. I'm going to go with Osceola.
I was going to go
I
Fall City.
said Doug Golds. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a good pick, though. Jimmy, what do you think?
I'll take. I can't take against anybody that wins 75-0.
Oh, boy.
But I'm just not going to take the game. I can't. I have no idea.
Okay.
In 8-man football, I know one thing. If there's a little separation, sometimes you look at the scoreboard, it's 48-24.
Yep.
And there wasn't much separation between the two teams.
No. And
But
then-
you look at, you talk about that separation, and you look at a lot of scores from last week in D2. You see a lot of that separation in that first round.
Well, you talked about that the first week. It can look, oh boy. Bloomfield, who's got a great running back, took care of Exeter Milligan, who's a good football team. Now they go down to meet Lawrence Nelson. I don't know.
I'm going to take Lawrence Nelson, but no, you know what the Bloomfield's nickname is, don't you?
The Bees!
There you go. I'm taking Lawrence Nelson. They look good. They look like they're the real deal. A lot of weapons.
I like that team, and I like their defense. They're going to have to stop Quentin Moles. What a name. Junior 2,000-yard rusher, Austin Stewart. Now he's right in his company. So now we have Randolph and BDS. BDS is awful good. I saw them play Lawrence Nelson. You know how good Lawrence Nelson is? It was 36-0.
BDS, I'm taking BDS.
That's a good choice, maybe, huh? All right. Edith, you think you'll go
I'll
BDS?
go BDS.
Now we go to the bottom, which is the West bracket, Twin Loop. Wow, Mike Koziel up there and Sargent, and they play Garden County, a team I saw beat SEM. That was
Twin
good
Loop will
football.
win that game.
Twin Loop will win the game. They gotta go out to Oshkosh B'gosh. Then O'Neill St. Mary's from up north goes all the way to Blue Hill. That's an evenly matched game, but I'll go.
Very even. That's a very intriguing
Oh.
game. I can't pick that one. That's very intriguing, though. Really is.
I-
O'Neill St. Mary year in and year out has a good team. Blue Hill almost beat Burwell, had them on the ropes last year, and that's how their season came in. We know how far Burwell made it.
I know.
And Blue Hill ended up getting a quarterback, a transfer student or option enrollment kid from
Really?
Red Cloud as a quarterback.
I
See?
didn't know
Yeah,
that.
they got a kid from Red Cloud as their quarterback. That was the missing piece. But they
Wow.
have struggled a couple times
Yep.
in 8-man winning. They just don't have that dominant 46-0 win here, 62-0 here. But sometimes the coach does that. Sometimes the coach can be very generous and you beat somebody 48-24.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
somebody else is beaten 72-0 with exactly the same talent.
And who's the man? You know how
Right,
it is.
exactly.
You've done it.
Yep.
And how about, here's, and Jimmy can't comment on this, and this is a great matchup, by the way. Loomis, they have to go to Ansley Litchfield. Loomis is undefeated. Good grief. And Ansley Litchfield started out okay, and then they must have had some injuries because they went through a dip, and they have fought their way all the way to this game. It's only you and I, Jimmy's abstaining.
I'm refereeing
just-
that game and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's gonna be, boy, and it
Yeah.
could go like 6 overtimes, which he wants, you know.
That'd be all right.
You
The
get
weather's-
paid by the hour, right?
If the weather's warm, I wouldn't mind 6
It's
overtime.
gonna be nice.
As long as I don't mess anything up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The
Good
longer
news is
you're
it's
out
only-
there, the better chance you have of missing something.
It's only 10 yards that you gotta work with in
Yeah,
overtime.
that's right, that's right.
And it's only for, not first and 15 like 6, man.
And I only got 8 guys on the field, so I hope I don't call them for having, if they got 9 guys on the field, I hope I get it right.
That's,
You know what, I'm gonna say, you know, I don't know about injuries, like you said, there could be some injuries on the Ansley team, but I think Ansley's a better than 5-4 team, and,
Oh, definitely.
and you know what, I think they pull the upset over Loomis.
Dennis Reese is a good coach. I just don't know how they got through unscathed, but we'll find out. And the final game is a neighborhood battle, not really a neighborhood battle, but it seems like Sandhills, Thedford, and Mullen. I don't know how you can get any bigger rivalry than that. And Sandhills, Thedford lost a couple of games in the opener, Jimmy. They had players that were not healthy. Now they do, but I'll tell you what, the state Class D2 championship has to go through Mullen. That's a good football team.
Yeah, Mullen.
Excellent football team.
Mullen versus the Sergeant Luke.
Oh,
County.
now that one.
Yeah, they could meet in the finals. I've heard Sandhills Thedford did get some kids banged up.
They did.
That's what I talked to Mike Koziel, and he told me that
Well, you
Sandhills
know.
Thedford lost a couple kids in that Giltner game after they'd won that. They'd been hurt, and it just appears that they had to be extremely healthy to beat that team. But that's the only team that Mullins played all year long that didn't have a running clock, the Sandhills
Oh,
Thedford.
that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is a good football team. Like I said, a sophomore, everything's good about it.
And you talk about the grind that they're gonna have to get to go to that championship game with that bottom half of that bracket. It's gonna be a tough test for that Mullen team, but the fact that it will be going through Mullen's gonna be big.
I gotta give a shout out to a guy that used to coach out at Arthur County. This is a 6-man guy. He's coaching down in Harvard now, and he's got them into you all know who he is. I can't remember his name, but he's got them in the semifinals. Got to go up to Cody Kilgore. That's a pretty good deal. You're out of coaching for a while, come back and coach a 6-man. I think 6-man is hard to coach, Jim. Nobody beats Riverside, but that's a pretty good deal. That's an amazing thing to step out and step back in and do that kind of
Well, I'll
thing.
say what, 6-man, one thing about 6-man
Do
football.
you
it's-
ever do that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
I did a 6-man. I've done 2 6-man finals, enjoyed them both. But it's very deceptive. And not only that, I've never had a game. I've worked many 6-man games.
Have you?
But I've never had a 6-man game that went down to the wire.
Well,
You know,
no.
that was just, it was like, even though both teams scored a lot of points, I mean, it just never did ever go down to the wire. You know, it was just, we kind of knew who the winner was going into the 4th quarter. Yeah.
Well, this is Ask the Official, our final thing here. Jimmy, I've seen this many times, and I've had a couple of 6-man officials ask me, what happens if the ball is not handled twice in the backfield as you have to do to advance it? What's the penalty on that? I'm being serious, because I really didn't know.
You know, I don't think there's a penalty.
I don't think there is.
There's not a penalty if the ball goes back to the line.
Just second down or whatever.
Yeah, you just lose
kind
the
of a dead
down.
ball.
Yeah. But what happens is if the ball is snapped to somebody, that guy's got to throw the ball.
Yep.
But if you snap it to somebody else and I lateral to you, now you can run or pass.
Yep.
But if you take off running, and even if you could go beyond the line of scrimmage, you could come back and then lateral to somebody else, and that guy could run. You know what I
Or
mean?
even if you pass a
Yeah,
line.
you could, as long as you lateral it backwards. You know, but you have to run all the way back to the line. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true. Hopefully that's what the rule is. But you know what? You know who told me? both coaches.
Well,
Because I
that's
asked him, hey guys, I just wanted to know, because I asked the coach, because you know who knows the rules in six-man? The coaches. And they know as a referee that that's not a stupid question. I mean, you could be working in the NFL and go, guys, I'm going to referee, I'm going to do as good as I can, but explain this rule to me here. What can you do, what you can't do? And you better talk to your six-man people, because there's a lot of stuff that you can and cannot do. And one of the things, too, when you kick off, you only have to have one guy on one side, see? So it can be the guy that kicks it needs to have one guy on that side. The other four guys could be on this side. And I thought maybe it was 2 and 3, so I have to ask him. You know, because you wouldn't know unless you ask him. Yeah, so, yeah.
I hear that you also cannot, on an extra point kick, which is worth 2 points, by the way, you cannot rush the kicker. That can't be right, can it?
You can rush the kicker.
Well, sure. You just,
No, that's not true. You can rush the kicker.
I don't know why you couldn't.
No, but it's worth 2 points if you kick it through.
How about a field
And it's
goal?
worth 1 point. Field goals are worth 4.
And I saw a kid drop kick a field goal. Yes, in Elba once.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something to win a game 4-0?
4-0. So anyway, we've covered them all,
Yeah.
folks. I don't have any questions. Zach, do you have a question? Anyway, no. Volleyball tonight starts. I was listening to Kearney Catholic in Minute on the way down. So we'll be back next week. Boy, a lot will be sorted out after this, especially in 11 man. They'll be going for the semifinals already. So for Jimmy Langen, who's popular everywhere I go, I can guarantee they like that hair, you know. And
You'll see him at 4 games this week.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
But I'm not driving in.
You're not driving
Remember
anywhere.
that. He's not driving.
Talk about an Uber.
Yeah.
NEW is always welcome back, by the way. So we'll be back next week with Cornhusker Toyota Honda sponsoring again for Zach Mayhew. Behind the camera, Bobby Mills. Have a good week. Go to some kind of a game.